PayPal right now, 201 bucks, 31 cents. Market cap at 265 billion, short interest at 1%. I wonder if the vultures are going to come out and actually short this a little bit more while it's falling, which might be a big mistake. Forward PE is 50, and earnings per share is $4.61. Forward PE is not beautiful at 50. That could be a reason also that if a stock is not doing so well and it's priced pretty high in terms of the PE, it would make sense that it would lose a lot of market value fast. And in this case, we're down almost 30 bucks, 12%, right? Let's go to the chart. Before I go to, this will be the chart. We'll talk about this, and I've shown this before. Let's quickly go over why PayPal is tanking, okay? Oh, market cap is lower. Hold on. So market cap is actually 236 billion. Maybe it wasn't updated on Seeking Alpha. The price is $201.44. PE ratio is a little bit under 50 here. So why don't we go with this one? This might be more correct right now. So let's go over this article. PayPal's Venmo strikes new partnership with Amazon. That's one positive. Stock sinks as earnings outlook comes up short. For the fourth quarter, PayPal expects $6.85 billion to $6.95 billion in revenue, as well as $1.12 in adjusted earnings per share. Analysts were anticipating revenue of $7.24 billion and adjusted EPS of $1.28. We're off to a solid start in the fourth quarter, but growth rates still remain slightly below our prior expectations, Chief Financial Officer John Rainey said on PayPal's earnings call. In addition, retail supply chain and labor market concerns, which may impact the important holiday season, have led us to adopt a more cautious stance for the fourth quarter, even though the company has seen improving trends in recent days. So one thing people are discounting is how big Q4 can be this year, especially with all this free money floating around, and people have too much to spend. Some people, obviously, not everybody, but a lot of people have too much to spend. I don't think PayPal's going to do so bad. And even if it does, we'll go into the charts. I think it's a great time. So let's go over exactly why it's losing market cap at an increasingly fast rate right now. PayPal's revenue for the period rose to $6.18 billion from $5.46 billion, while analysts had been expecting $6.23 billion. Okay, so they fell short by a little bit there. PayPal earned $1.11 a share, up from $1.07 a share a year earlier. Analysts tracked by FactSet were expecting $1.07. So they beat the $1.07 on an earnings per share basis. During the third quarter, the company generated $310 billion in total payment volume, or the value of payments flowing through its system, with the metric up 26% from a year earlier. Analysts were projecting $312.5 billion in TPV. PayPal said that its TPV would have increased 31% when excluding contributions from eBay. Okay, so this is really the main issue I just wanted to get to. The next thing is that their eBay income that they were getting, since eBay is transitioning away from PayPal and going to its own system, that's why they're also losing some market share right now. And there's a lot of FUD, there's a lot of stock dropping. But at the same time, PayPal has picked up another customer, which is Amazon. So they're exchanging one business for another. And I'm not saying losing eBay is a great thing, obviously, but this has been going on for already, I think, a year now or 2 years, where this is just transitioning out of PayPal. So this was going to happen. These are short-term problems for the long-term growth of PayPal. I don't know anyone out there who's not using PayPal and Venmo. Please tell me in the comments if you're not and you've never heard of it and you've never used it. I would like to know, because that's basically all I use now. Here's some positivity at which people are discounting, because Venmo is such a big growing business. But Venmo processed $60 billion in TPV, up 36% from a year earlier. Like it's a growth beast, right? Venmo. And they're doing crypto, let's not forget. So if crypto's pumping in Q4, maybe Q1, I don't know if it goes all the way to Q2, but you're talking about PayPal might be earning some income not being considered here from the crypto bull run that's happening. Look, I have a lot of equities, but I also have crypto. I do believe that there is a bull run happening. If that's not your thesis, I understand why you wouldn't believe what I'm saying here, but it seems like PayPal is just going to benefit from that actually occurring if we see Bitcoin going to all-time highs and Ethereum going to all-time highs. PayPal expressed confidence in its medium-term growth expectations, and Chief Executive Dan Schulman noted of the company's earnings call that he expects the company's revenue to accelerate throughout next year. So he's telling you he expects it to go higher. People didn't care because they missed their numbers. They weren't as high as they wanted. They didn't beat earnings. So that's why it's falling. And it's falling pretty hard, honestly. PayPal announced that U.S. Venmo users will have the option to pay for Amazon purchases within the service starting early next year. That's great too. So there you go. That's just another catalyst for PayPal. And let's not forget, PayPal, Venmo, they're making deals with other companies. They got their own credit card. They're doing crypto. They're doing a lot of stuff. They're charging merchants now a percentage to do transactions on the Venmo platform. Now let's take a look at the charts real quick. Today I bought, yes, I didn't get the bottom of this. This was like $200 the bottom, but at 205, I don't think I'm going to do poorly in PayPal over the next couple of years. And remember, this is a long-term thing for me. This is not like a weekly trade or a monthly trade. I don't do a lot of those things. I'm looking at the chart of PayPal, which I've shown before. I'll show it once again just to make sure everybody's up to speed on what it looks like. That is the monthly chart going back all the way to 2015 of PayPal. So have we been below this orange line? Yes, we did crash in March of 2020 during COVID. It went below the line. And here it's going below, and you can say, look, we might have broken out of the channel. It's possible. It's possible we trade sideways for a while and we never get back into this main channel, which I honestly think we will get back into, but it is looking like we are at an iffy position right now. You saw the monthly where the trend was going. I always like to point that out because now let's look at the daily. Look, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know if PayPal is going to go any lower. It does have support here at $180. So if I was to say, like, when would you go heavier? $180 seems like a great price if it actually hits $180. But having said that, we are at the bottom of this orange trend that I drew all the way back to the start, and it really doesn't go into this area too often, at least from the 7-year history of PayPal, I think since 2015. 6.5-year, 7-year history. So we are at this position right now that, do you take a good gamble on PayPal? Meaning, do you see the future of PayPal going down and down and down, and they're just losing more and more market share? Like, that's the bet here. It's very simple. It's a fundamental bet. Is PayPal going to continue losing market share? The earnings per share is going to keep going down lower. Their income is going to keep going down lower. Venmo is not going to be a huge business like it's turning out to be and growing 36%. This Amazon deal is not going to work out well for PayPal. So all the things me and you probably buy using PayPal and Venmo and trade and give money to friends, if these things aren't going to work, you should not be buying this stock. You might be one to short it. Maybe the 1% is you guys who are going to short it. But to me, it's a big if, of course. I'm taking a long-term bet here and looking at the future because I don't care about the next 6 months, the next year. This is a long-term bet for me. That if it is trading, usually for the last 6-7 years between these lines, usually the green channel, but it has gone lower than the orange channel. So if it's trading around here, I'm just going to keep DCAing into PayPal because we are closer, I feel, to the bottom than we are to the top. If you're looking between the trend of where PayPal has been in its history, obviously, look, the stock can have fundamental problems, which totally takes it out of the trend, but I don't actually see a fundamental issue here with PayPal as they make a deal with Amazon, as they have Venmo that's growing 36% year over year, as they're selling crypto, as I'm paying my contractors, as I'm using it to buy Oculus games now and other stuff online. So I don't actually see a problem with PayPal at this point that they're losing traction. What other sort of financial tool do we all use on at least a weekly basis besides PayPal? There's Zelle, maybe the Cash App. I mean, it's not like obviously credit cards we have when we go into the store, but I try to use something like PayPal online almost all the time to not give my credit card information to some randos on the internet, right? Some random stores. It's interesting where we are right now that we're at the bottom of this orange trend. I didn't even think we would see that this fast, honestly. Like, I'm shocked the way it just dropped. But the fact that we're here is, to me, are we closer to the bottom? To me, the bottom is probably $180 because there's a lot of support in this region. Is it possible we touch it? Absolutely, because if the market's bearish and everything is selling off like it is today, of course we can touch it. But are we closer to this bottom than we are to this top? That's the question. So if I'm just to do a simple ruler, let's say we are here at $200, $202, and I go down here, we are 10% away from $183, like the bottom, quote unquote the bottom for me. I'm not saying this is the absolute bottom. We don't know. A stock can drop and drop and drop until they come out with better numbers, and then it starts to recover or some good news, because right now PayPal doesn't have great news. So it's going to just be pushed down, right? But what happens if we do recover? So let's say from here, I'm going to take it I'm going to do another measurement. If I go from the bottom here, $202, and I go to around May, around 6 months from now. So what do I have? I have 110% upside as opposed to a 10% downside. So I'm just doing this as a math guy, I guess as a logical person, that I'm not expecting it to run up here. I'm just saying that the difference between the bottom here and the top here is pretty drastic in my opinion. So the upside looks to be more than the downside. So that's why I bought today. That's why I bought call options for 2024. I feel like I'm in a good position to benefit over the next 2-3 years of PayPal. And if I do look out for the next couple of years and we're back in this green channel, and once again, we don't have to be. Like if it does fail and it trades sideways for a while, then that's what it is. But do I still feel we're going down to the $150, $100? Like, are we actually going back to these prices right here at 122? Anything's possible. PayPal can make huge missteps. It is possible it goes back down to the 122 range. But honestly, if it starts to go there and there's only good news, like they're making more partners, you're supposed to be buying it. Like, I don't know how to make it clearer that when something drops and the fundamentals of the company are still the same, where they're still growing and their profits are 20-30%, they're growing at a CAGR of 20-30% approximately. You're telling me this stock is going to go down to $100 and they're profitable and their quarterlies are always good pretty much? Look, if I look at their quarterlies, quarter 3 2021, they still beat estimates. You're talking about, this is not a company deep in debt and failing, okay? This is not that. This is not a Nikola, right? This is not a Very Good Butchers. This is like one of the highest of quality companies that there is. So I'm not actually afraid when I buy this stock. If it goes down to 184, I'll buy some more. If people want to tank it all the way down to 122, I'll buy some more. That's okay with me, because I still see that we're going to be back here sometime in the future, and that, look, I probably have a $430 stock. Maybe it's not 2023. Maybe I have to take it out to 2025 and we have a $430 stock. Maybe this trend changes, that we're no longer in this one and we have a new one. But I don't see how it matters, because the lower it goes, the more my multiple of making money, right? So isn't that the point, that when others are fearful, we should be greedy, and when others are greedy, we should be fearful, right? So a good example is Tesla. Like everyone's greedy, thinking it's going to $2,000, and it still might. But of course, when everybody's thinking that, that's when it starts to sell off. That's the way it works. Or some bit of news comes out and it starts to sell off. So right now, everybody's terribly afraid of PayPal. I don't know who's running out, but a lot of people are probably running out who have been in profit for a year, and maybe they bought it at $120, or $100. So they need to get out before it starts to tank any lower. I totally understand them. I'm not like that. I feel like if it drops, I have to buy more. And I really want to get a big position in this, because the lower it goes, the bigger position I can get. We might be heading lower, maybe to 184. And I didn't think that would happen, honestly. But now it looks like it might happen, because we're below the orange line. So, but here is where I see eventually in 2-3 years that we are going to be $435, around there. Look, even if it's at the bottom of this trend and we're back in it, it's $337. Either way, you're getting a massive upside here as PayPal drops lower and lower, because right now it's $203. So I just wanted to release this real fast for those not paying attention to the charts, not paying attention to Venmo growing and what deals they're making, but they're only seeing the stock tank and they're trying to run out of it as fast as they can. Anyway, quick pod. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit the like and subscribe and watch, as we have a lot of content coming out. We have the Neo Volta video dropping. We have LG Investments and Lee coming on the podcast again, and we're going to be talking. So please hit the like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.